My name is Juliet Anderson, and I am 29 years old. 14 days before my wedding, my own father looked my fiancé dead in the eyes, and said she is a liar, always has been. She had a bastard child at 18, and tried to trap a man with it. My mother leaned in with venom in her throat, and hissed, "Do not let this trap you too." She abandoned her own daughter like trash. She is rotten to the core. I sat at that table frozen while the two people who were supposed to love me most carved my soul open in front of the man I was about to marry. I did not defend myself. I did not cry. I did not run. Because what my parents did not know was that the man sitting beside me had already found her. He had spent the last 6 months quietly rebuilding everything they tried to destroy. And in 14 days the daughter they forced me to give away was going to walk through the door of our rehearsal dinner, in a white dress with a purple sash. They had no idea she was coming. They had no idea their lies were about to die in a room full of witnesses. And they had no idea that the silence I was wearing that night was not weakness. It was a countdown. Before I take you any deeper into this story, I need to ask you something. If your chest is already tight, if your hands are already shaking, if some part of this is hitting a place inside you that you do not talk about, please do 3 small things for me right now. Tap the like button. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next part of my life I am about to share. And drop your city and your local time in the comments, because I genuinely want to know who is sitting with me through this. I am Juliet. This is the story of how my own parents tried to bury me alive, and how the daughter they ripped out of my arms came back 8 years later to dig me out. To understand how we got to that rehearsal dinner, I have to take you back 3 years earlier to a hospital corridor, where I saw him again for the first time in 8 years. But before the corridor, before Ben, before Lily, I have to take you to the night a sapphire ring slid onto my finger, and I made the mistake of believing the worst was already behind me. December 20th, 2024. Ben proposed on the rooftop of his Cambridge apartment. It was freezing. The Charles River looked like glass under the city lights. He had set up candles in mason jars because he knew I would think it was cheesy and love it anyway. When he got down on one knee, he said, "I lost 8 years with you. I do not want to lose 8 more days." I said yes before he finished the sentence. The ring was a vintage sapphire. His grandmother's. She died when he was 12. He told me once that she was the only person in his family who understood him. "Family heirloom for the family we are building," he said. I should have known my parents would find a way to poison it. I just did not know yet how deep the poison went. I did not know it had been waiting 8 years to surface. We set the wedding for March 29, 2026. Old South Church for the ceremony. The Fairmont Copley for the reception. A classic Boston wedding. I sent out 128 invitations. My mother called the day after I mailed them. "White roses are so common, Juliet. What will the church ladies think?" I had picked white roses because they were simple. Because they did not scream for attention. Because I wanted the day to be about Ben and me, not about impressing Patricia Anderson's church friends. But I did not say that. I just said I like white roses, Mom. She sighed like I had personally disappointed her. "Well, it is your wedding." That phrase. "It is your wedding." She made it sound like a threat. And she meant it like one. Ben's family was different. His parents drove down from Vermont the week after we got engaged. His mother cried and hugged me for a full minute. His father shook Ben's hand and said, "You picked a good one, son." His sister Caroline pulled me aside in the kitchen and said, "I am so glad he found you again. He was lost without you." I did not know what to say to that because I had been lost too. I had been lost in a way none of them could see yet. I handled most of the wedding planning alone. My mother offered to help, then criticized every choice. The venue was too modern. The menu was too simple. The invitations were too plain. I kept a seating chart on my desk. I must have revised it 20 times. Every version I moved my parents' table farther from the head table. Final version. Table 8. Near the exit. I told myself it was just wedding stress. Normal mother-daughter tension. I was wrong. I was so wrong I could not see the trap closing around me. Early March, my best friend Claire cornered me in the hospital break room. Claire is a nurse too. Pediatrics. She has known me since nursing school. She knows everything. She set down her coffee and said, "Your mom has been asking weird questions about you." What kind of questions? How long have you and Ben been together? Have you dated much since nursing school? Does Ben know your history? My stomach dropped. She said the history part. Not in those words, but she was fishing Jules hard. I stared at my lukewarm tea. She does not know about Lily. She cannot. Claire's expression said otherwise. Maybe you should tell her before she finds out another way. There is nothing to find. Closed adoption means closed. No one knows where Lily is. Not even me. I believed that when I said it. That belief would be in pieces inside 2 weeks. 2 days later my phone rang. It was my mother. "We need to talk about the wedding," she said. Her voice had that sugar-coated edge. "And about Benjamin." "What about him?" "We barely know him, sweetheart." "Why do not you both come to dinner?" "Saturday 6 o'clock. I am making pot roast." It was not a request. It was a command wrapped in pleasantries. I almost said no. But refusing would have caused a scene. A guilt trip. Weeks of passive-aggressive comments. So I said yes. Ben was grocery shopping when she called. When he got back I told him about the dinner invitation. His face did not change. He just put his hand on my shoulder and said, "We will go together." I hung up with a feeling I could not name. It felt like walking toward a trap I could see but could not avoid. Ben said we would face it together. He had no idea what my parents were planning. But here is what they did not know. Neither did they. A word about Grace Community Church. It is not what you would expect when you hear New England church family drama. Grace is not fire and brimstone evangelical. It is Episcopal. Progressive liturgy. Rainbow flags out front. Refugee sponsorship programs. The kind of place that believes in compassion over judgment and questions over certainty. My parents are relics. Old guard members who have been there 40 years back when the church was more conservative. They stayed because of inertia, not because they agreed with the current direction. Most of the congregation now is young families, social workers, teachers, people who choose grace over shame. That distinction would matter later. Because when my parents tried to weaponize church opinion against me, they would forget. This was not their church anymore. They were going to walk into a public room expecting an army and find themselves alone. To understand what happened at that dinner, you need to understand what they were trying to protect. What they had been hiding for 8 years. What they would burn the whole world down to keep buried. Fall 2013. I was 16. A junior at St. Catherine's. Ben was 18. A senior. We met in the library. He was sketching building designs for his architecture portfolio. I was supposed to be studying for calculus. I asked what he was drawing. He showed me. A house with a wraparound porch. Big windows. Trees. Future project, he said. College assignment. No. Someday project. When I have a family. He gave me that sketch on my 17th birthday. I still have it. It is in a box in my closet, folded along the same creases from when I used to carry it everywhere. We dated for 2 years. He went to MIT for architecture. I was planning pre-med at Boston College. My mother tolerated the relationship. Barely. He is too old for you, Juliet. 2 years is not that much. But to her it was proof I was making bad decisions. We were careful. We thought we were. December 2016. I was 18. Freshman year at BC. I missed my period. I took the test alone in my dorm bathroom. 2 lines. Positive. I stared at it for 20 minutes. I should have told Ben first. But I was scared and stupid, and I thought my mother would help me figure it out. So I drove home that weekend and told her. I was crying. I said, "Mom, I am pregnant. I do not know what to do." She did not hug me. Did not ask if I was okay. Just said very quietly, "You are going to fix this." Quietly. I knew what she meant. I am not getting an abortion. Her face went cold. Then we will handle it another way. That sentence. That is the one I still hear in my sleep. That is the one that took 8 years from me. That is the moment they took control. January 2017. My parents found out I was 2 months along. They pulled me out of Boston College. Told the school I was taking medical leave for health issues. I spent the next 8 months locked in their house in Wellesley. Technically homeschooled. Actually just sitting in my childhood bedroom feeling her move inside me, trying to imagine a way out that did not exist. They cut off all contact with Ben. Used my email to send him a breakup message. I think we should break up. This is not working. He called. My mother answered my phone. Told him I did not want to talk to him. That I needed space. He tried for 2 weeks. Then he stopped. I wanted to run every single day. I planned it. But I was 18, pregnant with no money and nowhere to go. My father made it clear. If you contact him, we cut you off. No college, no car, no phone. You will have nothing. So I stayed. And I let them plan my daughter's disappearance. I will carry that sentence for the rest of my life. August 13, 2017. 3:42 in the morning. Newton Wellesley Hospital. Labor took 16 hours. My mother and father were there. So was the adoption social worker. A woman in a gray suit with a clipboard and a sympathetic smile that did not reach her eyes. I gave birth to a baby girl. 6 pounds 8 ounces. Dark hair. Perfect. I asked to hold her. My mother said, "It is better if you do not." Clean break. The social worker nodded. It is easier this way. But there was a nurse. Young. Maybe 25. She looked at me. Then at the baby. Then back at me. She said, "I can give you a couple minutes." She placed my daughter on my chest. 90 seconds. That is all I got. 90 seconds for an entire lifetime. I tried to memorize everything. The weight of her. The warmth. She had a tiny birthmark on her left shoulder shaped like a crescent moon. I whispered, "I am so sorry." Then my mother said, "That is enough." The nurse took her away. I was sobbing. Could not stop. Could not breathe. I asked, "What is her name? Please just tell me her name." The social worker said the adoptive family will name her. They offered me something to help me sleep. A sedative. I was so broken I said yes. When I woke up 6 hours later, she was already gone. In someone else's arms. In someone else's home. With someone else's name. And I did not even get to say goodbye. August 14, 2017. I signed the relinquishment papers. Closed adoption. No contact. No information. No updates. Ever. My mother stood over me while I signed. "You will thank us when you are older," she said. I went home and locked myself in my room for 3 weeks. Depression hit like a freight train. I could not eat. Could not sleep. Could not think about anything except those 90 seconds. My parents acted like it never happened. My mother converted the nursery we had set up into a guest room within a week. No point dwelling, she said. I started therapy in October 2017. My therapist was kind. Patient. She told me you experienced a traumatic loss. Grief does not have a timeline. I said, but I chose this, did I not? She looked at me for a long time. Then she said, did you? That question sat inside me for 8 years. Every August 13th for the next 8 years I called in sick to work, stayed in bed, counted the hours since I had last held her. Which was 90 seconds. My parents never asked why I was sick on August 13th every year. They knew. And on year 8, on the day I thought would destroy me like all the others, Ben walked back into my life. But before he did, I had to survive 5 more years of pretending to be a person. I switched to nursing school in 2018. Simmons University. I could not save my daughter. Maybe I could save someone else's. Graduated in May 2021. Started at Children's Hospital Boston a month later. Pediatric unit. Every baby I held was a reminder. My therapist said that was either self-punishment or an attempt at healing. Maybe both. I kept minimal contact with my parents. Holidays only. Surface-level conversation. We never talked about what happened. But I thought about her every day. I built a life that looked normal from the outside. Job. Apartment in Cambridge. Friends. Therapy. I even dated a few times. Nothing serious. But every August 13th I disappeared. The ritual was always the same. I would drive to the Newton Wellesley Hospital parking lot. Park in the same spot where my parents parked that night. And I would sit there. I would count the years. First birthday. Second. Fifth. I would wonder. What does she look like? Does she know she is adopted? Does she think about me? August 13th, 2022. I sat in that parking lot and whispered. You are 5 today. Do you like kindergarten? Do you have my eyes? No one answered. Claire asked me once why I did not try to find her. I said closed adoption means she does not want to be found. I was wrong about that too. I was wrong about so much. In my apartment I kept a small box in the back of my closet. Inside were 8 birthday cards. 1 for each year. I would write them on August 13th, seal the envelope and put them in the box. I never sent them. There was no address to send them to. But I wrote them anyway. What I did not know was that 200 miles away a little girl was asking her mother every August who Juliet was. And 8 years and 300 miles separated us until a small plastic tube changed everything. While I was grieving, Ben was living his own version of hell. I did not know this at the time. He told me later. He finished MIT in 2020. Started an architecture firm with a college friend. Took on projects around Boston. He dated a few people. Nothing stuck. He told me later. Every relationship I tried felt like replacing you. I could not do it. In his sketchbook from 2018, there are pages and pages of house designs. All of them have the same detail. A nursery facing east labeled for morning light. He did not know why he kept drawing it. His body remembered something his mind did not. 2022, Ben's firm got a contract to design an expansion for Children's Hospital Boston. New pediatric wing. He would be on site for measurements. Meetings with hospital admin. Pure coincidence. Pure coincidence. Or whatever you call it when the universe finally decides to stop punishing you. March 15, 2023. I was doing rounds on the 4th floor. An administrator walked in with an architect to measure the space for the expansion. The architect turned around. And I saw him. 8 years. He looked older. Sharper. But it was him. We made eye contact. Time stopped. The administrator said, Juliet Anderson, this is Benjamin Foster from Foster and Holmes Architecture. Benjamin, this is Juliet, one of our pediatric nurses. Ben said, actually we know each other. I could not speak. He asked, coffee please. An hour later, we were sitting in the hospital cafeteria. 2 coffees getting cold on the table between us. We talked for 3 hours. He said, I never stopped thinking about you. And I never understood why you left. I told him the truth. Most of it. I told him my parents forced us apart. That I was pregnant when they separated us. That I had a daughter. Born August 2017. Given up for adoption. What I did not tell him. What I genuinely believed. Was that the baby was not his. The timeline was close. We had broken up in January. I thought maybe I had gotten pregnant right after we split with someone else. In my grief it did not make sense. But trauma does not make sense. I was wrong. But I would not know that for 2 more years. And in those 2 years he would do something I never imagined anyone would do for me. April through December 2023. We started dating again. Slow. Careful. Both of us wounded in different ways. He asked about my daughter often. Do you know where she is? Closed adoption. I have no information. Would you want to find her? Every single day. But I do not have the right. We fell in love again. Deeper this time. Because we knew what losing each other felt like. In November 2023 Ben started coming to therapy with me. Couples counseling. The therapist specialized in adoption trauma. Ben listened. Asked questions. Took notes. I thought he was just trying to understand me. I did not realize he was building a plan. I did not realize my fiancé was already at war. December 20th, 2024. The proposal. The rooftop. The sapphire ring. That night after I said yes, I told him something I should have said earlier. There is something else I said. About the pregnancy. About the timing. He waited. I got pregnant right around when we broke up. December 2016. And I have always assumed it was someone after you. A rebound. I was so messed up. I do not even remember clearly. I should have told you before you proposed. Ben went quiet for a long time. Then he asked, is there any chance it could be mine? I thought about it. I do not know. Maybe. The timeline overlaps. His face changed. Not anger. Determination. If she is mine, he said. If our daughter is out there, I need to know. But we cannot. Closed adoption means there are ways. I told him to let it go. That we would never find her. That it was better not to hope. 3 weeks later he ordered a 23andMe kit. He did not tell me what it was really for. He let me believe a small lie because the truth was too dangerous to hope for. And I will never stop being grateful that he did. January 2025. Ben did the DNA test. He told me it was for ancestry. I want to know if I am actually Scottish like my dad claims. I did not think much of it. Results came back in February. Standard European heritage breakdown. Norwegian. Irish. Some German. No close family matches. Ben stared at the screen for a long time. Then he said nothing. I said, I told you. She is probably not even in the system. He nodded. But I could see the disappointment. What I did not know was that DNA databases update constantly. When new people join, they are matched against everyone already in the system. Ben's profile was sitting in that database. Waiting. And 6 months later, on a Tuesday afternoon in Brooklyn, a pediatrician was about to spit into a tube on behalf of her daughter. And the wall my parents had built around our lives for 8 years was about to crack down the middle. August 2025. A couple in Brooklyn. Jennifer and Michael Walsh were having a conversation about their 8-year-old daughter. Jennifer is a pediatrician. Michael is a high school history teacher. They had adopted their daughter as a newborn. Always been open with her about it. At her last checkup, the doctor asked about family cardiac history. Jennifer said unknown. She is adopted. The doctor nodded. You might consider a genetic test. Just for medical records. That evening Jennifer mentioned it to Michael. Dr. Chen asked about cardiac history again. I hate saying unknown. Michael said, what about one of those DNA tests? 23andMe, worst case we learn her ancestry. Best case we get some medical data. They ordered the kit in late August. Lily. That is her name. Thought it was fun. She spit in the tube. Mailed it off. Forgot about it. None of them knew that little tube of saliva was about to detonate 2 families. September 3, 2025. The results came back. The system immediately flagged a match. Close family match. Benjamin Foster. Relationship. Possible father. Jennifer and Michael stared at the screen. The name meant nothing to them. But the age 31 and location Massachusetts matched the timeline. They realized this might be Lily's biological father. At the exact same time, on the other side of Boston, Ben's phone buzzed. New email from 23andMe. You have a new close family match. He opened the app. Match level. Close family. Possible daughter. Name Lily W., parent managed account. Age 8. Location Massachusetts. Ben told me later. I stared at that notification for an hour. Lily. Born August 2017. Massachusetts. It had to be her. It had to be our daughter. But he did not tell me. Not yet. He needed to be absolutely sure. Because raising my hope and being wrong would destroy me. So he did what Ben does. He made a plan. And for the next 18 days he carried our daughter's existence like a secret prayer. September 4, 2025. Ben hired a private investigator. The PI was a former Boston police detective who specialized in adoption reunions. Discreet. Professional. Knew how to use public records without crossing legal lines. Ben gave him the information from 23andMe. Lily W., age 8. Massachusetts. The PI worked fast. Property records in Brookline showed a Jennifer Walsh, age 43, pediatrician. And Michael Walsh, age 45, high school teacher. Dependent child. Female. Age 8. School enrollment records in Massachusetts are public. Cross-reference with the address. Lily Walsh. 3rd grade. Brookline Elementary. The school website had class photos posted from the previous year. 2nd grade. Front row. 3rd from the left. Purple shirt. Dark curls. Gap-toothed smile. The PI sent the report. 23 pages. The photo was on page 1. Ben told me later. The photo showed a little girl with dark curls and my smile and your eyes. And I knew beyond any doubt she was ours. The question was, what now? He had a name. He had a face. He had a daughter. And he had a fiancé who still believed her own child was lost forever. September 21, 2025. Ben sat me down in his apartment. Serious face. Gentle voice. I found her, he said. I thought he was joking. Found who? He showed me his phone. The 23andMe match. The PI report. The photo. I collapsed. I do not remember the next hour clearly. I know I cried. I know Ben held me. I know I kept saying how. How is this possible? Ben explained the DNA test, the match, the investigation. And then he said, Juliet, the match says I am her father. Not someone else. Me. That broke me all over again. Because it meant I had lost 8 years. Not just with my daughter. But with the father of my daughter. The man I loved. The man who would have fought for us if he had known. And somewhere underneath the grief a small dark thought began to grow. My parents knew. They had to have suspected. And they did it anyway. October 2025. Ben hired a family law attorney. Helen Strickland. Specialist in adoption cases. We were not trying to take Lily back. That is not how it works. We were trying to establish contact. To see if the adoptive family would be open to communication. Massachusetts law allows birth-parent contact if the adoptive parents consent. If they refuse, we would have no legal recourse. The attorney sent a formal letter to Jennifer and Michael Walsh. The letter said, I represent Juliet Anderson and Benjamin Foster, the biological parents of Lily Elizabeth Walsh, date of birth August 13, 2017. My clients recently became aware of their genetic relationship to Lily through DNA testing. They are seeking to establish contact with Lily if the family is open to such communication. This is not a legal challenge to the adoption. This is a request for voluntary reconnection. We waited 3 weeks. No response. I started to accept that maybe closed meant closed. That maybe my mother had been right after all. That maybe I was not allowed to have her. Then Jennifer Walsh called the attorney back. And what she said in the next 2 minutes turned every truth I thought I knew into ash. November 2025. Helen put the call on speakerphone. Ben and I sat in her office holding hands, barely breathing. Jennifer's voice was warm. Kind. I got your letter. I want you to know Michael, and I have always wanted Lily to know her birth parents. We tried to maintain contact after the adoption, but we were told the birth mother wanted no contact. A clean break. My blood went cold. Helen asked, who told you that? The adoption agency. They said they had reached out on our behalf, but Juliet had requested no further communication. I had never said that. My parents had. Jennifer continued. Lily asks about her birth mother every year on her birthday. We have told her we would help her find you when she was ready. We had no idea you were looking too. Ben and I were both crying. Jennifer said, we are not threatened by you. Lily is lucky to have so many people who love her. We would be honored to arrange a meeting. We set it up for February. Supervised by a family therapist. 1 hour. Walsh family home in Brooklyn. Lily was told ahead of time. Your birth parents want to meet you. She said yes immediately. According to Jennifer, she packed her backpack with a photo album the night before. 8 years old. She had been preparing for me her whole life. December 2025. The Walsh family started sending us emails through the attorney. Photos of Lily. Stories about her. She loves art, plays violin, wants to be a veterinarian. She is in 3rd grade. Her favorite color is purple. Jennifer sent a scanned drawing Lily had made the year before. It was a family portrait. 2 adults labeled Mom Jennifer and Dad Michael. A little girl in the middle labeled me. And in the background two shadowy figures labeled with question marks. Jennifer wrote, Lily drew this last year. She imagined you with long brown hair and kind eyes. She was remarkably close. I stared at that drawing for an hour. She had been thinking about me all those years. I thought I had no right to grieve. She had been grieving too. And she was 8 years old. We circled February 14th on the calendar. Valentine's Day. Symbolic. I asked Ben, what if she hates me? What if she blames me for giving her up? He said, then we will show her it was not your choice. We will show her everything. I did not know he meant that literally. I did not know he had already started building the file that would later end my parents. February 14th, 2026. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The Walsh house is a Victorian in Brookline. Painted blue. Flower boxes in the windows. Lily's artwork taped to the refrigerator. Jennifer and Michael greeted us at the door. They looked exactly like their photos. Kind faces. Warm handshakes. The family therapist was already there. A woman named Dr. Reeves. She explained the ground rules. Let Lily set the pace. If she wants to hug, great. If not, that is okay too. This is her story as much as yours. Then Lily walked in. She was small. 8 years old. Dark curls. Wearing a purple dress. She looked at me. I looked at her. I could not breathe. She said, "Are you Juliet?" "Not Mom. Just Juliet." I nodded. My voice was stuck somewhere in my chest. She said, "I have been waiting to meet you." She was holding a photo album. Construction paper. Glitter. Stick-on letters that said Lily's life. "I made this," she said. "It is pictures of me growing up. So you can see what you missed." Every page was a punch to the chest. Lily at 6 months. First birthday. First day of kindergarten. Violin recital. Art show. She narrated each photo. Matter of fact. Not trying to hurt me. Just showing me her life. When she finished, she looked at me and asked, "Did you want to keep me?" The question broke me. "Yes," I said. I wanted to keep you more than anything. But I was 18. And my parents, your biological grandparents, said I could not. They said you would have a better life with another family. So I listened. And I have regretted it every single day since. She processed this. Then she asked, "Then why did you not come find me?" Ben spoke up. Because we did not know how. Until now. Lily looked at both of us. "So you are like my original parents?" I said yes. She said, "Cool. Can I show you my room?" Just like that. 8 years of grief. Closed in a sentence I never could have written for myself. Her bedroom was painted sky blue. Stars on the ceiling. Violin in the corner. Walls covered in drawings. One drawing caught my eye. The family portrait with the shadow figures. Lily saw me looking at it. "I drew that last year. I did not know what you looked like. So I just made shadows. But now I can finish it." She pulled out markers. Started adding features to the shadow figures. She drew me with long brown hair and a smile. She drew Ben tall with glasses even though he does not wear them. She labeled us Juliet and Ben. Not Mom and Dad. Just our names. And that was okay. Because we had not earned those titles yet. After Lily went to practice violin in the next room, Jennifer and Michael sat down with us. Jennifer said, "We are not threatened by you. Lily is lucky to have four parents who love her." Michael said, "We have always believed adoption does not mean someone did not want you. It means more people love you. We agreed to a plan. Weekly visits. Gradual integration. Build the relationship slowly. Before we left, Lily made us pinky promise to come back next week. Driving home, I felt lighter than I had in 8 years. We had found her. She was healthy, happy, loved. We were building something. And then I remembered. My parents still had no idea. And our wedding was 6 weeks away. 6 weeks. That was all the time we had left before the woman who stole my daughter accidentally walked past her grandchild on a sidewalk in Brookline. We visited Lily 3 times before everything fell apart. February 21st. February 28th, March 7th. Each visit she opened up a little more. Showed us school projects. Played violin for us. Asked questions about family medical history. Do I get my curly hair from you? She asked me. Yes, I said. And your dad's smile. By the 3rd visit she hugged me goodbye. Quick. Almost shy. But real. I cried in the car after. On March 7th Lily asked Jennifer, said, you are getting married soon. Can I come? Ben had the wedding invitation in his jacket pocket. He had been planning to ask the Walsh family to bring her. That night we discussed whether to tell my parents. Do we tell them before the wedding, I asked. Or do we just let them find out? Ben said we should protect Lily from their reaction. Maybe we wait until after. I agreed. That was a mistake. That was the mistake that cost us the element of surprise. Because while we were debating timelines, my mother was already at a red light in Brookline staring at a little girl with my face. February 28, 2026. Friday afternoon. Around 3 o'clock. My mother was driving through Brookline to visit a friend. She stopped at a red light. And she saw him. Ben. Walking with a little girl. Holding her hand. My mother's heart stopped. The girl looked exactly like me at age 8. Dark curls. Same walk. Patricia followed them. Watched Ben drop the girl off at a house on Stedman Street. She wrote down the address. Spent the next 24 hours doing research. Property records. Social media. Adoption registries. By Saturday morning she knew everything. And by Sunday morning she was at my door. March 1st, 2026. 9 in the morning. My apartment. Ben was out grocery shopping. Someone knocked on my door. Loud. Insistent. I opened it. My parents. They pushed past me into the apartment. My mother said, we need to talk about the child. What child? Do not lie to us, Juliet. We saw Benjamin with her. My father said you found her. After we explicitly told you the adoption was final. I said you told me a lot of things that were not true. My mother's face went red. We gave you a chance to move on with your life. And this is how you repay us. By dragging up the past right before your wedding. I was gripping my coffee mug so hard it cracked. I did not notice until later. I said, get out. They did not move. My mother said, if you do not end this immediately, we will tell Benjamin the truth about you. He already knows, I said. She laughed. Actually laughed. Does he know you have no idea who the father is? The lie came so easily to her. I said, Ben is the father. 23 and me proved it. Her face went white. My father said, even if that is true, and I doubt it, that child is gone. Legally adopted. You have no claim. I said, we are not trying to take her. We are trying to be part of her life. Something you prevented for 8 years. My mother's voice shook. If you pursue this, you will destroy your relationship with us. I said, good. They left. But I knew it was not over. I knew that look on my mother's face. She was not retreating. She was reloading. March 1st through March 13th. 2 weeks of hell. My parents tried everything. Threats. We will tell the church you are harassing the adoptive family. Guilt. After everything we have done for you. Bribery. We will pay for a European honeymoon if you stop this nonsense. Emotional manipulation. You will confuse that poor child. Nothing worked. I blocked their number on March 13th. That is when they decided to go nuclear. They would tell Ben. Assume he did not know. He would leave me. Wedding cancelled. Problem solved. March 12th, the last phone call before I blocked them. My mother said, if you will not listen to reason, then Benjamin deserves to know the truth about who he is marrying. I said he knows everything. Unlike you. We believe in honesty. March 8th, a formal dinner invitation arrived in the mail. It had been sent 3 weeks earlier before the blow-up. Patricia and George had planned this intervention dinner before they even knew about the Lily reunion. Now it was their stage. I knew it was a trap. But refusing would cause an even bigger scene. Ben said let them try. I have got everything documented. I asked what if they have some proof I do not know about. Some lie I cannot disprove. He opened a folder on his phone labeled Lily. Inside. 23andMe results. Emails with the Walsh family. Therapist notes. Photos with Lily. Legal timeline. Everything. Then we will disprove it together, he said. March 14th arrived. 14 days before the wedding. We drove to my parents' house in Wellesley. Ben brought his phone. I brought my engagement ring. Because I was not sure I would still be wearing it by the end of the night. March 14th, 2026. 5:55 p.m. The Anderson house is a large colonial. Immaculate lawn. Church directories stacked on the side table in the foyer. My mother greeted us at the door. Too sweet. All smiles. Benjamin, you look so handsome. Juliet, so lucky. The translation was clear. You could do better. The dining room was set formally. Good china. Pot roast in the center of the table exactly as promised. There were 4 place settings. I asked who else is coming. My mother said just family. The 4th chair stayed empty. I thought it was decorative. Symbolic of something. It was not. We sat down. My father said grace. It was long. Pointed. About honesty and truth in marriage. Then my mother served the pot roast. And then as I was lifting my fork to take the first bite, my father looked at Ben and said, there is something you need to know about Juliet before you marry her. Pause. Juliet had a baby 8 years ago. She gave it up for adoption. And never told you. Ben set down his fork. Very calmly. He said, I know. My mother blinked. Throne. You know. Yes. Juliet told me over a year ago. My father recovered quickly. His voice got louder. Sharper. Did she tell you she has no idea who the father is? That she was running around with multiple men after you broke up? And the pregnancy could have been anyone's. I started to stand. That is not. My mother cut me off. Sharp. Cold. Sit down, Juliet. The adults are talking. I sat. I stayed silent. My hands were clenched under the table. Ben's hand covered mine. My father continued. She tried to trap some other man with that bastard baby. When he refused to marry her, she gave it away like garbage. Ben did not move. He let my father finish. He let every word land in the room. He let my mother lean forward with that smug satisfied look. And only then did he speak. He looked my father in the eye. And said very calmly. Actually, I know exactly who the father is. Pause. And your daughter is not the liar at this table. You are. The room went silent. My father said, "What are you talking about?" Ben said, "I am the father. 23 and me confirmed it 6 months ago." My mother's face went white. My father said, "That is impossible." The timeline. Ben interrupted. August 2017. Juliet and I were together in December 2016. You separated us in January 2017, when she was 2 months pregnant. You forced a closed adoption to hide your shame. Should I continue? My mother's voice shook. You have no right to. No right to what? Ben said. No, my own daughter. Interesting perspective for grandparents. My father stood up. Even if you are the father, which I doubt, that child is gone. Legally adopted. You have no claim. Ben said, actually we have been in contact with her for 6 weeks. My mother's voice came out strangled. You have what? Ben picked up his phone. Set it on the table. Screen facing up. Her name is Lily, he said. Lily Elizabeth Walsh. She lives in Brookline with Jennifer and Michael Walsh. Wonderful people who actually love her. And she knows we are her biological parents. He opened a photo. Showed it to them. The photo was from March 7th, Lily. Me. And Ben. All smiling. Lily holding a sign that said, "See you at the rehearsal dinner." My mother leaned in. Her voice dripped venom. Do not let this trap you too. She abandoned her own daughter like trash. She is rotten to the core. Ben's voice stayed calm. Cold. She did not abandon anyone. You stole her daughter. And you are about to lose your own. My mother stood up. Shaking with rage. If you continue this circus, we will not attend your wedding. We will tell everyone at church what kind of woman she really is. We will make sure everyone knows what you have done. Ben stood too. He pulled up a folder on his phone. Let me show you what we have, he said. 23andMe results proving paternity. Emails with the Walsh family, who by the way tried to contact Juliet for years but you blocked them. Therapist notes from Juliet's trauma treatment. Hospital records showing she tried to refuse the adoption. Legal timeline showing you rushed the process. And testimony from Jennifer Walsh about letters you intercepted. My father's voice was tight. You have been building a case against us. No, Ben said. We have been protecting Lily from you. There is a difference. My mother said, if that child shows up at your wedding, we will stand up and object during the ceremony. I stood up. The engagement ring was still on my finger. I looked at my mother and said, then you will not be invited to the ceremony. She said, you cannot uninvite your own parents. I said, watch me. My mother tried one last card. Fine, have your reunion. But I am calling the Walsh family tonight. I will tell them you are unstable. That you are harassing them. Ben interrupted. Go ahead. They already know our story. The real one. Including your role in forcing the adoption. We have documentation. And they have lawyers. My mother's voice cracked. You have been planning this. You have been. Ben said, we have been protecting our daughter. Something you should have done. I said, after tonight you are not invited to the wedding, the rehearsal dinner, or anything else. You lost the right to be my parents when you stole my daughter. We left. Drove in silence for 10 minutes. Then I said, they are not going to let this go quietly. Ben said, I know. That is why I invited them to the rehearsal dinner. I stared at him. You what? He explained. He had sent the formal rehearsal dinner invitation 3 weeks ago. Before this whole thing blew up. He knew they would find out about Lily eventually. He wanted the confrontation to happen publicly. With witnesses. So they could not rewrite history later. Rehearsal dinner meant 40 guests. Both families. Friends. Colleagues. Church members. All the people who knew me as kind, honest, good. I asked what if they make a scene. Ben said then Lily will see exactly why we kept her away from them. And everyone else will see it too. March 14th to March 28th. 2 weeks. I blocked my parents' number. Focused on the wedding. Visited Lily twice more. She was excited about coming to the rehearsal dinner. Jennifer helped her pick out a white dress with a purple sash. So I matched the wedding colors, Lily said. I asked Ben what if this backfires? What if it traumatizes her? He said she is stronger than you think. And she deserves to know the truth about why her family looks the way it does. 2 weeks passed. The longest 2 weeks of my life. And then the night came. March 28, 2026. 6 in the evening. The Fairmont Copley Plaza. Private event room. We had combined the rehearsal dinner with a welcome party for out-of-town guests. 40 people total. Ben's family from Vermont. My hospital colleagues. His architecture firm partners. College friends. 5 church members. The progressive ones who actually liked me. And the Walsh family. Jennifer, Michael, and Lily. Seated at table 1. Near the exit. So they could leave with Lily if things got ugly. My parents arrived at 6:15. Late. Making an entrance. Patricia wore a navy dress and pearls. George wore a suit. They looked like the respectable church-going couple everyone thought they were. Caroline, Ben's sister, leaned over and whispered they actually came. You ready? I said no. But let us do it anyway. Dinner started. The food was good. Salmon. Roasted vegetables. Conversations buzzed. Speeches began. The best man told a story about Ben in college. The maid of honor Claire told a story about me from nursing school. Ben's father stood up. Talked about finding your way back to love. About second chances. My parents sat stone-faced through all of it. Then Ben stood up. The room quieted. He said, most of you know that Juliet and I dated in high school. What you might not know is that we broke up for 8 years. We were separated by circumstances beyond our control. Family issues. Miscommunication. Bad timing. His eyes flicked to my parents. But 3 years ago we found each other again. And this time nothing was going to keep us apart. He looked at me. Juliet is the strongest person I have ever known. She survived things that would break most people. And she has done it with grace and kindness that still amazes me. He paused. There is someone else who wants to say hi. He gestured to the door. The door opened. Jennifer Walsh walked in, holding the hand of a little girl in a white dress with a purple sash. Lily. The room went completely silent. Lily walked toward the head table. Her eyes were on me. My mother's face went chalk white. My father half stood. Then sat back down. Lily reached me. Smiled. Hi, she said. I am Lily. Then she turned to face the room. Small voice. But clear. I am Juliet and Ben's daughter. Well, biological daughter. I have 2 moms and 2 dads. It is kind of cool. Someone in the back asked, you have a daughter? Claire stood up. Yes. And it is a beautiful story. Let them tell it. Ben explained briefly. Factually. 8 years ago Juliet and I were separated. She was pregnant with my daughter. But I did not know. Her family arranged a closed adoption. For 8 years we thought we would never see Lily again. Then 23andMe brought us together. Her adoptive parents Jennifer and Michael have been incredibly generous in letting us reconnect. Jennifer stood up. Her hand on Lily's shoulder. Lily is lucky to have so many people who love her. We are honored to share her with Juliet and Ben. My mother stood up. Her voice shook. This is inappropriate. This child should not be here. Caroline, Ben's sister, said, "Excuse me. Who are you?" My mother said, "I am Juliet's mother." Caroline said, "The same mother who forced an 18-year-old to give up her baby." That mother. Patricia said, "We did what was best for." Ben's father stood up. For who? Certainly not for Juliet. Or for Lily. The room was staring at my mother. No one was on her side. My father tried to pull Patricia toward the door. She shook him off. She turned to Lily and said, "You do not belong here." Lily looked at her. Small. 8 years old. White dress. She said, "Are you my grandma?" Patricia said, "No, I am." Lily said, "Juliet told me I have grandparents who did not want me to exist." Is that you? Dead silence. Patricia could not answer. Lily continued. Juliet told me she wanted to keep me, but you would not let her. Is that true? Patricia stammered. It is not that simple. Lily said, "It sounds pretty simple." Ruth. An elderly church member. Someone Patricia had known for 20 years. Stood up. Patricia Anderson, she said. I have known you for 2 decades. I have never been more disappointed. One by one people spoke up. A colleague from the hospital. Juliet is the most compassionate nurse I know. She deserves happiness. Ben's business partner. This family is beautiful. Anyone who cannot see that can leave. Even church members. Patricia's own people. Turned on her. Forcing your daughter to give up her baby. That is not what Jesus taught. Ruth said, Patricia, you need to leave. This is a celebration. And you are poisoning it. My mother grabbed my father's arm. She headed for the door. Stopped. Turned. Said, you will regret this, Juliet. All of you will. And walked out. The door closed behind them. The room exhaled. Then someone started clapping. Then everyone. Standing ovation. Not for kicking out my parents. For Juliet's strength. For Ben's loyalty. For Lily's courage. For the Walsh family's generosity. Lily looked confused. Why are they clapping? I said, because we are a family. She said, all of us. I said, all of us. She looked at me. Shy. Hopeful. Can I call you Mom? Or is that weird? Because I already have a mom. I was crying. You can call me whatever feels right. She thought about it. Okay. Mom Juliet and Mom Jennifer. Like that. I held her hand. First time holding her hand without a therapist supervising. 8 years late. But here. The party continued. Lily met Ben's parents. Her other grandparents. They cried. Hugged her. Gave her a teddy bear they had been saving for 8 years. And the next day we got married. March 29, 2026. 3 in the afternoon. Old South Church. Boston. 128 guests. Patricia and George were not among them. Lily was the flower girl. White dress. Purple flowers. She walked down the aisle ahead of me. Ben cried when he saw us both. The ceremony was perfect. Our vows included the line, "I promise to always choose truth over comfort and love over fear." The pastor said marriage is not just about two people. It is about the family you build together. The camera panned to Lily, Jennifer, Michael, Ben's parents. All of them smiling. We took photos after. One with Lily between me and Ben. All three of us holding hands. That photo sits on our mantle now. Next to the hospital Polaroid from 8 years ago. The only other photo I have of her as a newborn. The reception was perfect. No drama. Just joy. Patricia and George did not try to crash. They disappeared completely. At the reception we had our first dance. Then Lily, still in her flower girl dress, asked if she could join. We pulled her onto the dance floor. The photographer caught the moment. 3 of us holding hands in a circle. All laughing. Jennifer and Michael watched from the side. Smiling. Not threatened. Just happy. Ben's parents were crying happy tears. 1 week after the wedding I sent a certified letter to my parents. It was brief. Clear. I will not be in contact with you. You are not welcome in my life, my marriage, or my daughter's life. If you attempt contact, I will pursue legal options. You had 18 years to be my parents. You chose control over love. I am choosing differently. I never got a response. I heard later through a church friend that they left Grace Community Church. Too many questions about that granddaughter. They could not spin the story anymore. I thought I would feel guilty about cutting them off. I did not. I felt free. For the first time since I was 16 years old, I felt like I belonged to myself. Months later we found a rhythm. Lily lives with the Walsh family in Brookline. That is her home. Her school. Her primary family. But she stays with us every Wednesday for dinner. And every other weekend. We are in family therapy. All 6 of us. Me, Ben, Jennifer, Michael, and Lily. Plus the therapist. It is working. Lily calls Jennifer and Michael Mom and Dad. She calls me and Ben Mom Jules and Dad Ben. Everyone is okay with this. Her school forms list 4 emergency contacts. Birthday parties have 4 parents. We all coordinate schedules like it is the most natural thing in the world. Lily has a bedroom at our house now. Painted purple. Her choice. Art. Violin. It looks exactly like her room at the Walsh house. She told a classmate once, I have 4 parents. It is like having built-in backup. I want you to hear this part, because if you have ever been told that the people who hurt you are the only family you will ever have, I need you to know that is a lie. Some people ask if I regret cutting off my parents. I do not. I regret the years I spent trying to earn love from people incapable of giving it. I regret the birthdays I cried alone in a hospital parking lot whispering to a daughter I could not name. I regret believing that silence was the price of being a good daughter. But I do not regret fighting for my child. I do not regret choosing the man who chose me back. I do not regret walking out of the only home I ever knew to build a real one. The day my mother told me to fix it, she thought she was ending something. She was. She was ending her place in my life. She just did not know it would take me 8 years to finish the sentence. Some families you are born into. Some you build. And some. The ones worth everything. You fight like hell to reclaim. We did all 3. And we are not done. There is a little girl with dark curls and a purple violin who calls me Mom Jules. And every time she does, I hear those 90 seconds in the hospital again. And I thank God for the man who refused to let her stay a stranger. If you made it all the way here with me, thank you. Truly. I do not take it lightly that you sat with my story for this long. If any part of this reached something inside you, a wound, a memory, a mother, a child you lost, a child you found, a version of yourself you are still trying to forgive, please do these last things for me. Hit that like button so this story reaches someone tonight who needs to hear that they are not crazy and they are not alone. Subscribe to this channel because there are more stories like mine coming, and I do not want you to miss the next person who needs you in their corner. And in the comments tell me one thing. Who is the person in your life you would fight 8 years to get back? Tell me their name. Tell me your city. Tell me your local time. Because somewhere out there another Juliet is reading these comments at 3 in the morning believing nobody understands. And your one sentence might be the reason she keeps going. I am Juliet Anderson. This was the story of the daughter they tried to bury, and the family we built on top of the grave they dug for us. Take care of yourself tonight. And if you have someone you love in the next room, go tell them. Right now. Before anyone else gets to take 8 years from you.